welcome to the Paper Snob. This is Tara. Today I am working on Scraplift Crafternoon. This is a weekly hop that I host, and I have an entire tribe of Scraplift Crafternooners who do this with me each week when they can. This week we are wishing one of our very own, Shannon, a happy birthday, and when it is one of our tribe members' birthday weeks or months, depending on how they fall, we like to scraplift them. So we have chosen, with her help, this layout that I'll post up here in the corner to scraplift. It is so cute. It's got some mixed media and some other fun elements. I'm probably going to kind of make this my own simply because I had this pile of stuff left over from my November counterfeit kit that I wanted to attempt to use bits and pieces of. These two pieces here are from Tracy Reed's Goldenrod collection, which was the inspiration kit that we used for counterfeit kit in November. This piece was actually from Farmstead Harvest, which is what the Goldenrod collection reminded me of, especially some of the floral leafy prints that were in that collection as compared to Goldenrod. I actually own Goldenrod. I purchased it, and then shortly thereafter I found out I was going to be on her design team for 2025, so that's kind of exciting. I have a couple of chipboard pieces and some wood veneer leaves and a piece of a title piece rather, can't speak, words are hard, from Color Cast Design. Color Cast Designs sells some amazing acrylic and wood veneer pieces, and if you go to her website you will actually see that she has some gorgeous wooden trays for sale if they haven't sold out. They're gorgeous. I've seen them in person because she is one of my friends here in Colorado, and I'm very grateful for her friendship. So you should check her out. I'll try to remember to post links to her website down below so that you can do that. I also have some chipboard frames from Pink Fresh Studio that I pulled in, and then some various bits and pieces from my counterfeit kit. I think these two are Echo Park chipboard. I had a couple of sheets from them in there. This is Freckled Fawn. I believe this was on the same chipboard as this. This was My Mind's Eye, and it was actually in several of my kits, and I cannot remember if it was in November. And this is just a stray leaf that fell out of my kit onto the floor, so I thought I would just put it up here and maybe we'll go ahead and get it used. I have two photos of my gorgeous little granddaughter. She is a feisty little stinker, and we love that about her. She has a lot of sass in her. She is now almost 11, so she's much older than this. This will go in the baby book that I'm making for her. And one of these days I'll actually gift the album to her, but for now I'm just adding stuff to it. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to get started. I've got a little bit of mixed media that I want to do. I'll be right back. All right, my idea here is to mimic the mixed media that Shannon has on her layout using this Mr. Huey's white spray. So you're going to see that it doesn't really work. And part of that reason is the Mr. Huey's white spray is not saturated enough in color, not like the Delusion's white linen one. I even resorted to spraying directly on the page here because I really wanted some of this to show, and this helped get it on there in the way that I intended. I'm going to set it aside to dry. The second reason why it didn't really work is because that is a printed paper that I printed here at home using an inkjet printer, and it turns out that it doesn't handle mixed media well. So this was more of an an experiment just to see how it handled mixed media, because I had another idea for another paper in the upcoming collection that will debuted on the 28th. Oh What Fun is her Tracy Reed Designs Christmas collection, and as I'm on the design team, I've already got a video up, and if you subscribe, you've probably already watched it or at least seen that it's there. But anyway, I wanted to play with this piece of paper because it wasn't super important if I ruined it. I didn't ruin it, but I am going to have to be very careful with any papers that I print myself and mixed media. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm cutting these frames or mats for these photos, and I did intend to cut them longer on that end because I was thinking Polaroid style. Well, they're not quite long enough for that, and that's fine. What that does is give me a place to put things on them, and by the time the layout is finished, you won't really see that there's an extra 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch sitting there. So I have this beautiful title piece from Color Cast Designs, and I'm going to be using that as part of my title. The rest of my title, I'll be using the mini tile letters that I think you kind of could see in my intro. Now I am taking the wood veneer pieces, which are also from Color Cast Design, and I'm sorting them into shape. And I wanted to layer those up, and I will be doing that. So this paper is taking forever to dry, and I really want to get this layout going, so I'm going to run my paper towel roll over the top of it, and then you saw me kind of bend the paper backwards a little bit. I'm going to be using this chipboard border as an anchor point. It's not going to be super visible in the end, except for on the left and right hand side of my photos and title and embellishment clusters. But I did want a place for things to land, and so I'm using that, and that is my first deviation from Shannon's design, other than the fact that I am using pattern paper and she used white cardstock. So I took the striped piece and I used some Hip Kit dies that I have, and I cut little labels, and I'm just using them kind of in the same manner that Shannon did on her original layout. They're actually going to be cluster bases for this layout. I've laid my title down in the middle underneath the 2 photos, and I really wanted to use that skunk chipboard piece with these photos, and the rest of my title is going to say thankful for this little stinker. And I am super thankful that we have this beautiful little girl in our life, and super thankful for her little spicy personality that she has. We adore everything about her and are super excited that we get to have her for Christmas this year again, and hopefully she'll have a great time. She's going to get to meet her Uncle Garrett for the first time. I don't think she got to meet him when we were stationed at Quantico because he was so busy while we were there, and I don't know that he actually got to see her. So right now I've got all of my embellishments on here, and I realized I forgot my chipboard frame, so plus I needed something for journaling. Shannon's journaling was underneath her photos, where I want my journaling to be up above because I don't want anything below my title, and that is my other deviation from her design. So I'm pulling in those chipboard frames. I'm using 2 very small ones, and everything is going above my chipboard border. That is absolutely intentional. And so this particular chipboard frame, I'm going to use the scalloped circle on this right hand side. I'm going to kind of tuck it underneath the photos. What I will do off camera when I go to glue everything down is I will pop those photos up with some fun foam so that I can tuck things a little bit easier and things will be level. I got my layout completely finished. I glued everything down. I did add some foam adhesive under the two photos so that as I tucked things underneath, there would be space for that. And I was able to hide most of the stems on the leaves on that side underneath the photo. I know that you can just barely see my banner label sticking out on that side, and you can't see the other one at all because of all of the layers that I put, but you can see the two that I cut here. Those are a Hip Kit Club die. It came with a tag, which is the one that I use the most often from that die set. I also added some splatters with my Delusions white linen spray. The Mr. Huey spray is very subtle, and as you saw during my process with the mixed media, I had to resort to spraying it because color was coming up off my paper, and that's because this paper was printed at home. I don't know that if you printed the paper outside of the home with a or even with a laser printer, if that would be the case. I don't have a laser printer. I'm just using my wide format Canon printer to print paper, and so I'll have to keep that in mind when I want to mess with mixed media, to be very careful with paper that I have printed at home. I love this collection, Goldenrod, and I love everything that I have created with it. This layout is no different. I know that it looks different than Shannon's. I basically used her layout as a jumping off point, but tried to pull in a lot of the elements that she used, like the mixed media, and I used labels and chipboard frames. This one is a scalloped circle, and it is layered up underneath the little skunk and leaves, so you can only see this little part. I also moved my journaling up here, and I have a very long title. The title letters, these little letters here, I believe these are K & Company. They're very thin, so I have had a lot of trouble with them bending and stuff, even though I used foam adhesive to pop them up. I love this title piece from Color Cast Designs. Make sure that you check out her website. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being here. Bye.